Robert Kirkman is an exceptional writer. He gave us Invincible and The Walking Dead, and as of recently, I got to finish this book 1 of Oblivion Song, and I wish I liked it more. I really do. I think he's a fantastic writer, but there was just something about this that just wasn't epic enough for me. Maybe I had high expectations. Welcome back, my fellow comic book friends, to Comic Casper, and I'm gonna give you a spoiler-free review of this book 1 of Oblivion Song, so let's kick it. From the get-go, when it comes to collected editions from Image Comics, whereby this is the publisher, they do an awesome job with the paper, with the build, comes at a decent price as well. And this one is $39.99. These are always a bargain, right? And sometimes the build is just a little bit better than the competitors too. This one collects 12 issues of this series, and I believe there's a total of 3 of these books of the collected editions. This one here isn't off to the strongest start. Now, when it comes to the artwork of Lorenzo De Felici, here's what I love. I like the environments, I like the action sequences, like the momentum stuff, the movement, the perspectives, and I really loved the inking. But what I'm not the biggest fan of is the character designs, is the facial expressions, the faces in general. I don't feel like it's enough. I don't feel like it's up there in terms of quality. Everything else is fantastic, but it just seems like it's lacking in certain places. And you know what? That's okay. I can overlook that if the writing is exceptional. But in this case, I don't think that is the case. What is Oblivion Song about? Alright, so to give you a bit of a premise, we've got our main protagonist here, Nathan Cole, who is traveling through to another dimension, or should I say like a pocket dimension, from our world to another world, and he's trying to save people who managed to get transported there. Okay, so I need to back up a little bit. How did they get there in the first place? Well, think about a section of Philadelphia all of a sudden disappearing and being replaced with another world. That section that went missing actually went over to the other world, and that section from the other world went over to us, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like we switched places in a way, teleported between different universes. So this is what happens, right? And there's a team of people that essentially have the ability to transport themselves over to that other universe, and they're trying to recover all these people, of which I think there is just thousands upon thousands of. Now, the things that got transported over here appear to be like these deadly alien creatures that are causing havoc. Obviously, our military was able to control it, but there was a lot of collateral damage in the process. And then on the other side of the equation, there's people that are stuck in this other universe, and they're fighting for their lives, and they're, trying to survive. So hence why we got the team that just keeps going back and forth and trying to save them. Now, our protagonist, Nathan Cole, he has a brother, Edward Cole, that seems to be stuck in there, and he's really obsessed with finding him as well as saving as many people as possible. There's other supporting characters here, like scientists and whatnot, that work with him and help him out, but it seems that the government who is funding this program, a lot of their money has seemed to have dried up, and they have stopped the program altogether, believing that they can't find any more survivors, they can't recover them, so they're trying to close the book in on this one. But obviously our protagonist is so committed, he's so obsessed that he wants to make sure he saves everybody, and he wants to make sure that he finds his brother. There's a nice little plot twist along the way where, with revelations, and then you get to just understand a little bit more about what actually happened, how did this happen in the first place, what the other world has to offer, and then obviously the government gets involved, and it just enriches the world. I think Robert Kirkman takes a lot of his time to make sure that he's building a rich environment with meaningful characters, and I get that, and I think for the most part, he's doing a decent job here. But I just feel like, what is the end game of all of this? I read 12 issues, which is a third of the story, and I still feel like we're stalling for time a little bit here. Cool characters, cool concept, and fascinating world. Just don't think it's being executed all that well. And there's a little bit of mystery here with some other like alien type creatures that are thrown into the mix, that are spoken about like they're some sort of a myth or a legend that are on this other world. They're teased a little bit here and there, or just briefly referenced to, so I think maybe that's something else that they're building up towards. I think maybe the revelation, the surprise is still yet to come. And I will continue reading this, but I just feel like in comparison to his other work, that being Invincible and The Walking Dead, those pieces of writing were just amazing. This is just okay. And like I said, what lets it down here is the artwork is not phenomenal and the writing feels like it's stalling. I know that Robert Kirkman has another book going with Lorenzo De Felici, which is Void Rivals, and I really have high expectations for that, and that they have learned from their mistakes in this book here. And okay, maybe I have spoken too soon. I need to read volume 2 and volume 3 to make up my mind and to give you guys a better picture. But when it comes from the first third, I'm just gonna say this is okay. This is probably like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's by no means amazing, and it is not bad at all. I mean, it's Robert Kirkman at the end of the day. He's a great writer. Everything flows, just doesn't excite me as much as I wish it would. And maybe a part of that is because I have extremely high expectations of him as a writer too, so maybe that doesn't help. Anyway guys, if you're interested in some sci-fi stuff, you can take a gamble on this, but just know that you won't be blown away. The inking though, I gotta give it to them. It's top notch, and the world building is beautiful. Just the characters. I wish the character models looked a little bit better. But that's just me being a picky comic book reader. I want to hear from you guys. Have you read this series? Have you read the whole thing? Should I know that it gets a lot better? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing everything comics from you guys. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'll hit you up with some more comic book content soon. Oh, and give it a like if you enjoyed it, and a dislike if you hated it. I'll catch you soon.